The last item on the list of the course navigation links here is settings. We're going to go into settings right now. Whatever you do, don't confuse this settings here with your account settings. Those are two different kinds of settings. If I click on my account and click on settings here, that takes me into the place where I can change my time zone settings, or I can add a profile picture, or change my notifications. That's different settings. This settings here that we see in your course is specific to that course. Every course that you are an instructor of has its own specific settings for it, and they can be different from one course to the next. So if we click on settings, it takes us to a place where we can see the course details first of all. You see other tabs here across the top. We can see the published status of the course. And then over on the right-hand side, there are a number of other functions and features that we can access. Since I'm an administrator, I probably have more buttons over here than you have, but I'll talk about the important ones that you do have access to. First of all, we're under the Course Details tab. The Course Details has all sorts of information, like the time that your course runs from and until. You can modify that as an instructor, but if you do and you add a custom start date and a custom end date, let's say I just add one in here arbitrarily, you do also need to make sure that you check mark this box that says users can only participate in this course between these dates. This will override any term availability settings. If you don't do this, the term availability settings, which I set as an administrator, will override your course and will shut students out at the date. I think I usually choose a week or two after the course concludes. So if you want to modify that, that's how you'd have to do that. Other options down here include visibility. If you want to make your course publicly visible, then you can do that just by checkmarking this box, and then anybody can access your course. However, student data and interactions will remain private. There's another feature here that is newer that has been actually highly sought after by some instructors. That is restrict students from viewing the course after the end date. If you mark that, that will make sure that students cannot access any of your course content after the course is concluded. Finally, there's a More Options button down here. If we open that up, there's some other nuts and bolts down here that are kind of important. A lot of these options here are available in other areas of your course, but this just puts it all in one spot. So this is where you can tell Canvas that you want students to be able to attach files to discussions, or you can turn this off if you don't want students to create their own discussion topics. Editing and deleting their own posts, and then a number of other items here. The next one is navigation. Navigation is a big deal in Canvas. However you have this navigation menu configured in the settings area of your course is how it will also show up over here on the left-hand side. So customizing your navigation in your course is very important. As I mentioned previously in this course, if you're using modules to deliver your course material and your course content, then many of these items can be hidden. In fact, almost everything here can be hidden because everything here, for the most part, can be added to a module. So, for instance, we can hide conferences because that can be in modules. We can hide quizzes. We can hide files and pages. We can hide discussions, assignments. All of those things can be added to your course modules, and I can maybe move the modules up a bit. Outcomes, maybe I don't want students to see that. Attendance, students don't really need to see that either. So I can save, and that greatly simplifies my interface. Over here on the left-hand side now you can see all of these items that have been grayed out. This means I can still access them. I know what they are. I can click on them and go into these tools, but they have been hidden from student view. Which brings us to another part of the settings, and that is the student view option over here on the right-hand side. If I click on student view, it's going to show me what a student sees in the class. And now you can see that navigation menu has been really cleaned up. This makes it much easier. To leave student view, you can just click on leave student view in the lower right. We'll go back into settings now. As far as the other buttons over here on the right-hand side, there are two others that we will talk about. First of all, there is import content into this course. This is the tool that you will use whenever you are bringing old content into your new class. So if you have an old course, Canvas course from a previous term, you could choose from this drop-down box to copy a Canvas course, and then you could just pick which course that is. You can tell it whether you want to do all content or if you want to select specific content and then hit the import. That's going to bring your old course content into your new course. Also over here in these buttons, we have one that's called Reset Course Content. This is a dangerous button. So if you click on that, it gives you a big red warning. Are you sure you want to do this kind of a button? Be careful, because this Reset Course Content is what we refer to as a nuke and pave. It's going to turn your course shell into a brand new empty course shell. If you do this, anything you do will be gone and it will not be retrievable. So only reset your course content if you are absolutely certain you want to do that. Sometimes when I have recommended people do that is if they imported a bunch of Blackboard content into a Canvas shell without realizing what they were doing. This is the best way to kind of clean out everything of your course if you want to just kind of start from scratch. Those are probably the most important items in the settings area of your course to touch on.